Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of the Underrated Podcast with us, the Undercast Company. I'm Fred, and with me today are our co-hosts, Alan,
Yo, what up, everybody?
Ariel,
Hello.
and Derick.
Hey.
And today I bring you guys the most eclectic movie that probably anybody's ever seen. Something that will blow your minds and melt your faces. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. This is the second movie in the reboot sequel of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was directed by Dave Green, produced by Michael Bay, Andrew Form, Brad Fuller, written by Josh Applebaum, Andre Nemec. Man, these names are weird. And
It's like a four-name name.
no, yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, wow. It's based off of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I assume a lot of people have seen, whether you've seen the animated series, the other movies,
Is this a new IP?
whether you read the comic books. It did star a few people that you might know: Megan Fox, Stephen Amell, Will Arnett. Who else? Laura Linney.
Linney.
Laura Linney.
Yeah.
Multiple Oscar nominee.
Right. Can't say your name. Noel Fisher, Jeremy Howard, Pete Polzek, our man Alan Richardson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one.
Blue Mountain State, baby.
Go
Ryan
Goats.
T.
Hawk.
and Tyler Perry.
And did you say Will Arnett?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
okay,
threw him.
okay,
He was up there.
Yeah,
But
so I was
you,
like,
you
fuck.
didn't mention my boy Monk. What's his name?
Oh yeah, Tony Shalhoub, because he wasn't credited in the end credits. I
Was
noticed
he?
that this time around.
Wait,
Yeah,
so Tony Shalhoub?
Tony
Oh, man,
it's
Shalhoub
the
is
jungle out there.
Splinter. Yeah, Tony Shalhoub is Splinter.
Okay. I did
oh
not.
my god, dude!
Yeah.
What a revelation! I was like,
I
heard
didn't know that.
voice before, and I was like, dude, I feel like I've heard it so many fucking times.
Well, did
And,
they
like-
just reuse his voice, or was he actually on it?
No, there was new
Just
lines.
like Chef.
No, he was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Okay,
new
okay,
lines.
just-
He didn't talk
all right,
as
just
much
wondering.
as in the first one, I think. So he probably had. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a one-day recording, because
Yeah,
he
they
wasn't.
recorded
He
it
wasn't
on a
the.
Saturday.
Unlike the other unlike the Turtles, he wasn't the body double for Splinter. It was another actor. But yeah, if you didn't know, that the voice actors for the Turtles were actually on set and were in like huge
Yeah.
suits and
I
stuff
remember
like that.
They did the whole Andy Circus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Andy Serkis just played all of them, and then he was
Every
like,
single
hey,
one of them.
every single one.
Yeah,
He's like,
they
turtle
did
power.
their on motion capture on set.
Well,
So that's what I
Did-
get. So.
all I gotta say is this movie got the Rotten Tomato score from the critics of a 37, and the audience gave it a 47. Right? Okay. I'm just gonna throw this out there, and I'm gonna say this. This is why I got an issue with this stuff. It's one. I'm gonna put it like this. It is one of the movies that is the closest to what you would consider the source material, in the sense of, if you watch the animated, because I'm not gonna go into the comic, this is just the animated, which I'm assuming most 90 kids probably saw at their time.
Only 90s kids will understand.
Yeah.
But well, no, I'm saying because they brought out Bebop and Rocksteady, right?
Mhm.
So if you play the
And
video games
Crag.
back in the day, well, yeah. But I'm saying, if you play the video games back in the day, if you saw that those guys and Shredder, those three alone were like main characters that you saw all the time in the cartoon. They were like the main staple. And for them to do it in this movie the right way, I mean, and I'm not talking about just any old, just, I mean, it really called back some good memories, because it was done a very, very good way. Like, I really appreciated what they did, the way they did it. I mean, the guys, they looked just, I mean, the animation and everything that they did, it was great. It looked like they had their clothes. It was Bebop, it was Rocksteady, and I was on it. And then with the Shredder there, I mean, I'm just like, fuck, dude, I am living my childhood dream in a movie. They did a great job. Now, I'm not even going in the acting. I'm not going in the story. I'm just saying, just the character-wise, I think they did very good job to get close to the source material. I wish the score was like a 50, maybe. I would have been happy with like an audience score of 50, something a little bit closer, but it wasn't. And I'm okay with that. You know, these things, obviously nostalgia plays a part in it, and it will always cloud your eyes with beer goggles or goggles of fantasy
Nostalgia
and
goggles.
yeah, all kinds of whatever you want to call it. Obviously,
Michelangelo's little tech goggles.
right.
Donatello.
It's
Donatello's.
Donatello.
Excuse
Sorry,
me.
Yeah.
Put respect
Yeah.
on his name.
Yeah,
Oh.
Michelangelo is the humorous one,
The
but
youngest brother.
that's right, the coolest one. But what I'm saying, wow. All right, we're not even gonna go there, but
My man's
We'll
Donnie,
save-
bro.
We'll save that for the end.
yeah, we'll do that later. But
I think I know
like I
who
said,
everybody is.
we all know that I love this, and I love the Turtles. So I want to hear on you guys. Speak on what you guys thought of this movie.
Well, can I ask you something real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was this a good like Ninja Turtle movie? Like this is a good for a Ninja Turtle fan, or is this a good movie? Period. 'Cause
I want to say as a fan of the movies, this is just me, the fan of me. I know obviously other people will have other things to say about them, but as me as a fan, I think that it did a good. It was a very good turtle movie. It did really well, and it goes beyond. How can I put it? It's what I would have wanted when I was a kid with the original Turtles movies. They weren't bad. They were good. They were what they were, right? And they were really good, and they were really heartfelt and had everything. But this just had all the characters that if they would have made maybe like the third movie, the In Time movie that they made. Wait, no, what the third one where they went back in time into the
They went to
Yeah,
like the,
okay,
the
instead of
samurai time.
instead of them going into the samurai time, I would have wanted to see this. This is what it would have been the third movie that I wanted to see in that trilogy. Them going up against Bebop and Rocksteady, going up against Kang, going up against Beakman, maybe even turning into a fly like he's supposed to. Like those things would have been. I was very excited for the future of these movies. Kind of got sad that they weren't going to make a third, but that's where I just want to say like that's what I saw there. That's it had such potential. I would have wanted to see this in the third one of those. So I think it's a good movie for kids, maybe just that are getting into it. I think it's good, but as a fan of the movie, I really think that this was really good. I would have preferred the Casey Jones from the other movies. No, it's not the actor. It's not the actor.
Something to say that about.
No, and it's not the actor because I think this is a good actor. Anybody can be Casey Jones. What I just think is I like the attitude from the original Turtles, but that's also nostalgia. That's just me wanting that like a little bit more tough, a little bit more rough around the edges, Casey Jones. But that doesn't mean that he didn't do a good job. I thought he did an okay job in this movie.
Yeah.
They just made him a little bit more happy-go-lucky. But I would have liked that guy, that other Casey Jones to be in this movie. If I could take a little bit of each one and form it together, I think we could have made a really good third movie. That's just what I'm saying.
Okay. So I'll get into my story. So the first time I watched this for my birthday, but now watching it the second time right around, I watched it with the wrong people. Because I watched it with my siblings, and like I said, for my birthday, and two of my siblings were born are children of the 80s and grew up with the cartoons and the movies, and are very stuck on the original movies that they even before we walked in they weren't even giving it a chance. And then my other sibling is 10 years younger than me, didn't really like it, and of course I'm going in for both for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but mainly before my guy Stephen Amell, wearing his shirt right now. And so for me, I think when us going in and me being surrounded by that kind of mentality kind of didn't allow me to enjoy the movie as much as I could have, and like to actually see how it is actually really good, and it is very close to the source material, especially from the cartoons. But I do agree like that Casey Jones, I really wish that they had played him a little bit more to the from the Casey Jones from the cartoons and from the movies, and being kind of rough around the edges, not being a cop. And they could have totally done that because Stephen Amell kind of yeah.
I gotta ask, with Stephen Amell being the Arrow, right, at the time he was doing it, you think he could have done a better job with that kind of attitude? Because I think so.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. If they just like grabbed some of what Stephen had created in as Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow, and Arrow, and that kind of like vigilanteism. Like they brought in the vigilante from of the time, and then they don't make him a vigilante, which I know. But I will say, like I watching it the second time, I kind of liked it a little bit more. It is very cheesy, especially like I still agree. I still have the feeling that they wasted potential on Steven. If you want to see his full potential, please go and watch Arrow and Code 8, which him and his cousin are in. Those are just incredible performances by him. So they definitely, like, I still hold that thought that they underused Steven. But I feel like after this, like, I agree with you, Fred, that if they had gotten the chance to make a third movie, I think, because the way that it is, the first one, not that great. The second one was getting a lot better. And because the first one, the Shredder, how they portrayed him, not great. I remember, like, it was just not really Shredder. In the second one, it was getting closer to the Shredder that we know from both the cartoons and the comics and from the original movies of the 90s. So I feel like if they had gotten that third movie, it probably would have been, like, perfect. Because they were like on the road. They were on the road. Like, if they were
I gotta say, I think the reason they didn't do well is, if you guys might want to agree, is they didn't have Vanilla Ice on it.
That's true.
Yep, absolutely.
Vanilla Ice.
And Sam Rockwell didn't give anyone cigarettes. So,
but I will tell you this, that during the premiere in New York, Vanilla Ice did perform Go Ninja Go. So yeah, it's the Lost Potential.
That's cool. That's cool.
And the original Turtles from the 90s movies came out too. Yeah.
See where the things that they went wrong with.
Yeah, but I feel like because you kind of got that sense of, like, the classic. I feel like they underused, like, going back, they underused not just Steven, but the character of Casey Jones, because you kind of got tastes of him and Raphael's, like, first off, like, kind of like nemesis, kind of like act, but then they become buddies, like big buddies, like hang out, go for drinks and stuff. So you kind of got the sense of that at the beginning, but yeah, they kind of, it was a little bit cheese. I think
I have to ask you on the Big Cheese, since you're a huge Stephen Amell fan. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the part where they make him go fight Splinter? Like, where he's gonna go tackle him? I thought that was bad.
Yeah.
I thought that was bad.
Cringy.
That was bad. That was so bad.
Yeah, that
I was gonna say, come on, you're gonna tell me that you just see 4 turtles and you're gonna be like, oh my god, there's a giant rat. Come on. I was like, that's pretty bad.
I honestly, I didn't think it was bad. I thought there was other cringy shit in the movie. But, like, I thought that was kind of charming because it was like, it was just nice to. Well, wait.
Yeah. I thought to see Splinter do his thing.
That.
Yeah.
But also, like, it was just funny to see, like, the turtles, because, like, if you notice, they're kind of on edge most of the movie. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like, we're not a team, fuck being brothers and all that shit. But it was kind of nice seeing Raph and Mikey just kind of being like, hey, this fucking rat dude, he starts some shit. Like, you should go over there. You're Casey Jones, and he's like, I am the Green Arrow. I mean, Casey Jones. And then he goes, and then he gets fucking rocked, and I was like, well, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was funny.
Scene. Yeah,
it was funny, but it's just a little cringy the way they do it.
It was cringy, but I just liked how.
Yeah, I can tell you this much: how he played Casey Jones is a lot similar to how he is in real life. Like that kind of like a little bit laid back, like kind of like a little bit like at ease kind of character.
A little like funny.
Yeah, a little funny, kind of like not as serious. So it might have been like just like, but yeah, still it's a underuse of a good actor on that part. Like the one thing that I do not, and it happens every Michael Bay film, and I don't understand why does he have to do it? Why does he have to have slow motion shots? Why does
because they're the best with the turtles?
Why does Michael Bay? I know,
produced it.
but you put on the Michael Bay name, and there suddenly has
there were
to appear.
explosions. You didn't tell me there wasn't an
No,
explosion in
there's,
that movie.
but there's
There were
suddenly,
explosions.
there suddenly has to appear at least 5 scenes where there's slow motion for no reason, and then like 5 scenes where there's explosions. Like, I'm fine with the explosions,
Also,
but it's the slow motion that it's just so. The one slow motion that was okay was when Casey Jones, which in a very Arrow-like way, he crafted up some skates and then like, you know, did that whole shot where, you know, Steven did actually do that.
He just wanted to see more Stephen Amell, and if they slow it down, that means it's more screen time.
Well,
That's
no,
right.
he's actually doing a bomb-ass like stunt too, because you did actually see
A 1 minute scene
stunts.
turned into a 10-minute scene of looking at his ass.
Hell yeah. No, but I was gonna add to your thing of the Michael Bay thing. Fucking Dutch tilts for days.
Yeah.
Oh my god, every shot is like this.
Yep.
As soon as I started watching it, I was like, all right, yeah, Michael Bay produced it. And then like every like pan up screen, they might as well just have the camera like this all the time. They're like, we're gonna record you talking like this.
Mm-hmm.
It was never symmetrical. No, I don't remember one scene just being symmetrical. It's like this.
It levels up the intensity that you're supposed to feel.
They learned a little bit from Kenneth Branagh. They watched fucking Thor 1.
Yeah. But no, that on top of what Ariel was saying, that's what made me laugh, because I was just like, explosions, Dutch tilts, and Megan Fox. Boom, there it is.
Yeah,
Transformers.
Tmnt. I gotta ask, was Megan Fox still hot back then? Like, I mean, not as like looking.
I was about to say, like, yeah.
Well, no. What I'm trying to say is, was she still like up there when the second one? Because I know when the first one came out, she was still on top of her game, right?
I think the only thing she'd been in is like
she was
New
like
Girl.
going down.
Yeah,
like
I think
a
this was
couple
right
episodes
after
of New Girl. That was like the only thing she'd been in.
This I think
since
might be the
Transformers.
last big thing that she's done.
Yeah.
And the only
She
reason
did.
I
Okay,
think
that's-
I think because I know that her and Michael Bay kind of had like a falling out, like in between, like Transformers.
Oh, he's Hitler or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was like the last thing for her. She was actually okay, tolerable in this movie compared to like Transformers.
She was fine.
It's like
I don't think she's a bad actress.
She's okay.
Not bad.
Not that bad. Not as bad as like other people like to like drum up and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall for me, I enjoyed it actually a lot better the second time. I was kind of actually dreading watching it because like I was just like I couldn't like handle the cheese, but back then, but I think it was because of the people, like I said, the people that I was watching it with, that now, like, except for him going after Splinter, except for that scene, I was like, oh, okay, it's not too bad. So, and then looking at it more deeper than I said, I started to see like, yeah, this is the cartoon like style, and especially with Crag, like the character designs of the villains were really good and true to the cartoon. So yeah, so I agree that it shouldn't have gotten as much heat as it did.
Flack.
Yeah, flack.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it did.
I've always felt, I don't know how you guys think. What do you guys think of the turtles? Because I always feel like that's where the flack comes from the way they made the turtles look.
I know.
I thought they were cool.
I thought they were okay. I mean, they're modern.
kind of
Wow, okay.
They're modern.
I actually really liked the way the turtles looked in this because they look like individuals. They don't look like here's like the same turtle but with a different color mask.
Yeah.
Like you could, if they weren't wearing the masks, you could be like, oh, that's Mikey, that's Leo. I like how they all look like you could tell instantly which character is which character. They all physically feel like they move differently. Like some of the, like Raph is fucking huge and bulky, and like Leo's kind of like got a Bruce Lee cut, and then like Mikey's like tall. Yeah, Donatello's like I really like that element of it actually, and I think that they like people are like, oh, they look like monsters because they tried to kind of like I could see that like uncanny valley thing a little bit, but I liked that, you know, rather than just being like 4 identical rubber suits, they had a bit of personality in the way they looked.
And I mean, that's what it also adds with like the motion capture, like they capture their face, so they have a little bit more emotion and expression in their faces, and overall, I was always okay with this style. It was like, you know, like a modern take of turtles, and you know, they had pants, but I mean, they made them look like, you know, like what the turtles would kind of like be transformed into today, and like kind of like I didn't mind it as much as like a lot of people didn't like it. If you want to see like truly the current cartoon, that character design I don't like at all, because it's like Ralph is like Raph
Who's
is
Ralph?
just not Ralph. Raph is
Raphael.
just is just this like huge like tank, and then like they don't look great, but yeah, I didn't mind. I never really minded this character
I'm not
design.
gonna lie. With the first movie, when they first came out, I was like, they massacred my boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
what
thought
I
the
first
same.
thought. That's what I first thought. And then once I saw the first movie, I was like, all right, this is cool. By the time I saw the second movie, I was like, you know what? This is a different take, and I can respect it because they did it well. I feel like they did it well. The actors were cool as the characters. You know, nobody. I don't want to say that it was a joke. It seems like they took it seriously to be to make you feel that those are who the characters are. And so I don't know, maybe that's what changed my mind. By the time I saw the second one, I was like, hey, you know, these are the new turtles and these look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, when they first came out, I right away was like, why do they look like penises with a half shell? Like, I was like, whoa, dude, they don't look great. But then, like, I kind of heard a lot of things people didn't like the first one, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then when I went to watch, I didn't see the first one, but the second one, I heard a lot of like good things, kind of like under the radar. Some people are like, hey, it's like an episode of the cartoons from the 80s, and I was with a buddy of mine who's a big TMNT fan, so he was like, fuck it, let's go watch it. And it does grow on you, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, after a while kind of looking at it, I was like, okay, they're not like 100% my cup of tea, but I was like, it's okay for what it is. Yeah, they just kind of looked a little off. Like, it takes a little while to get used to, and like Derick said, I think the uncanny valley thing kind of comes into play as well. So I was like, ooh, I don't know, man. But after watching it, I was like kind of paying attention to all the little minor details. Like Raph has like a tattoo, and then like, you know, Donatello has like a phone here, which I don't know why he has a phone there, but he has like all his techie stuff.
Yeah,
he's a tech guy. Oh my god, let me put a phone here. It's like the equivalent of like
he's gonna go jogging. That's why he put that armband on him
with like painting tape, like painting tape.
Yeah, he's like.
One other thing too, though. Splinter. Yeah, Splinter. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it was the reverse, where like I feel like even in the old ones, like his eyes were very human-like. So when I saw this one and like his eyes were like rat-like, I was like, what's wrong with him? And I was like, oh yeah, he's a rat. He's a fucking giant ass rat who beats the shit out of the Green Arrow. But yeah. But I mean, just for you to finish up, Ariel, about how you feel about it.
Oh no, I said it. I enjoyed it the second time around a lot more. I mean, that's not to say that just I do, because it was just like $3. I have like the collector's edition of this movie because it comes in the garbage truck. It's really cool. And
I have that one.
And I was like,
I bought it when it came out. And it comes with a garbage little truck, and you open it. It's like a little tin box. Fuck yeah, that's the shit.
And I was like, fuck it, why not? You know, support the boy.
$3 is not bad.
Do $3. It was a Black Friday sale.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. Do you want to go first, Derick? Or
sure. Yeah, I'll get into it. I feel like I don't have like a ton to say on this movie. Like, it was just kind of like one of those movies. You're like, oh, that was like an interest. You watch it and you're like, that was interesting, and you don't really like it doesn't really stick with me. But I do appreciate, like, the reason I was kind of asking you, Fred, like, do you think this is a good movie or a good Turtles movie? Like, I think this is probably a good Turtles movie, but not necessarily a good movie. Like, it has everything you'd want from a Ninja Turtles movie. Like, it's like, okay, like things that have never been in a Ninja Turtles movie before. You know, you've got like Bebop and Rocksteady and Tyler Perry as a fly who's not a fly yet. And then like I was kind of curious at first why you picked this one instead of the first one, because I hadn't seen either of them. That great. And then like when I watched, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, this has all the '90s like turtle shit.
Oh no, I only picked this one because I thought Ariel would enjoy seeing. Seeing her man on the screen. It could have been either or, honestly, at this point. But
no,
I was just like,
one's a
I
lot
think
better.
it's a little.
The second one's a lot better than the first one.
It is a lot better. It is a lot better.
It's like we've been saying, it's more connected to the source material for sure than the first one.
And it's got their truck, it's got all the things like, you would like be like, oh, like me, like I loved the 90s TV show and like the very first movie, the first theatrical release movie, and then I fucking played, like we were kind of talking about this before we recorded, I played the shit out of that arcade game at Chuck E. Cheese, and that game had like all the stuff that this movie has, where it's got Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang and like fucking the Shredder like turning into like 15 Shredders at the end of the game or whatever, like it was all the things that like I recognized from a Turtles movie. I think it was kind of like a generic like superhero-y movie, like especially towards the end when you've got like the spy like that sky beam coming down and stuff. But there's still like enough good stuff in this that I don't want to like trash the movie. I was upset about my boy Casey Jones just being done real dirty, I feel like, in this movie. Once again, not because of the actor. Like, I haven't seen Arrow, so I defer to your judgment on this, Ariel, and I believe what you're saying, that like it wasn't him. I think it was just the way the character was written, because like some of the writing in this movie just seems very like, just kind of like lowest common denominator.
Once you start seeing Arrow, you'll be like, why didn't they just do this? Like, why didn't they just give a sliver of this?
You know what? No, I gotta think is I have to assume that they probably told him, you know what, just be opposite, because obviously everybody knows you're Arrow.
That's exactly what I told Ariel too. I told I remember
you.
way back when we talked about this. I said the same fucking thing. I was like, I bet you the director said, "Hey, dude, you're a big hit on Arrow right now.
I don't want you to do that shit." Yeah, that's what honest to God, I think that's what it was. Like, I don't want people to look at you here. I want people to think of you as Casey Jones, not as Arrow. So I need you to tone it down. I need you to do this. And I swear, I bet you that's what it was. Because you know how some directors are, instead of getting the guy because you want him for what he did and the way you should be, they go, oh, I love what you did over here, and this is why I'm picking you, but be completely opposite of what you just did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And there's some stuff in this movie that like I was just kind of like, it's not a movie I would ever go back to, but I don't regret watching it at all. There's some standout stuff, and like I think that whole action scene that's kind of closes out the second act, where they like start on the plane and it ends in the river. That's a fucking phenomenal action scene. I thought that was like really interesting and well choreographed. You had a lot of things going on. Like you had like the interplay with the turtles was like relevant to the fight, and that's like what a good fight scene is it's more than just like, oh, this looks cool. It's like, what are the characters going through and how is that affecting the fight? And it also looks really fucking cool. It's the standout sequence in the entire movie for me. I thought it was great. And also just like I wanted to point out what you were saying at the beginning about how this movie has like only a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was looking it up before we started, and Turtles movies, they're always bad on Rotten Tomatoes. Even the original. Yeah, the old ones, they got
Secret of the Ooze, man.
Well, you know why I gotta think though the original ones are bad is because by the time Rotten Tomato comes out, those movies are old now to people, and so.
Well, they take the older reviews. They take the reviews that were current in that day, and so it doesn't really matter.
I think I mean, if you look at the history of all of Turtles, like comic books, cartoon, well, maybe not the cartoons, they were probably a little bit more well received, but like the start of the comic books and then the original movies, like they always kind of got a bad rap. Like
that's kind of the point I was making. Yeah, because this is actually the second highest rated Turtles movies according to Rotten Tomatoes. Only the first one has a better Rotten Tomatoes score of 40%.
The original one? Okay.
Like the original 1991. And then this one, like the 2014 one, has like a 22%. Like the second and the third one from the 90s also have really bad scores. So they never do very well critically, even though I've gone back and watched the second and the third one, and they honestly don't hold up for me. First one really holds up for me, like the original 90s one, and it might just be a nostalgia factor. I don't know, because I used to fucking watch that movie on repeat as a kid. So it might just be that like I loved that movie as a kid, but I still do legitimately think it's a good movie. This one does have a lot of, the kind of heart of that movie that I really appreciate as well. I think the difference between those ones and this one, why those ones they got critically trashed. This one also did bad financially. Like it, like I was reading this article in the Hollywood Reporter that said after you factor in like marketing and like everything, it lost Paramount about $75 million. and I don't really understand why this movie would do so much worse than like the 2014 one or like, you know, the animated TMNT one when this is, you know, so true to what the Turtles mean. So I don't know.
I think the reason why is because, I think because the first one was just bad. Like I haven't even seen it, but everyone has told me. Everyone, and like the thing is, when this one had come out, like I said, my buddy's a big TMNT fan. He like refused to watch it. He's like, no, I'm not gonna watch the original reboot one. He's like, no, it looks like dog shit. And like this one, I was like, well, man, fuck it, man, we're here. Why don't we give this one a shot? And like he ended up loving it. Like he was like, "Oh my god, this is exactly what like I wanted," kind of thing. But he's a very, very casual moviegoer. Like he'll look at a trailer and he'll immediately go, "That looks like shit. I'm not gonna watch it." And it was like, you know, Parasite or some shit. Like he'll be like, "That looks like dog shit." But yeah, like he's super critical about stuff like that. So I can imagine that a lot of other people who wanted to go watch it or who didn't want to watch it are like, dude, the first one kind of sucked. And then you have the nostalgia people who are like, nah, bro, 1990, you know, that's my bag. I'm only gonna watch the first one from back in the day, kind of thing. So I think it was just a bad cocktail of like just previous incarnations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's always been a very kiddish thing. So I feel like adults go, man, if my kid didn't like this, what the fuck? Then why am I gonna go take and watch the sequel?
Yeah.
And yeah, it might also just be like kind of like fatigue at that point because there've been so many turtle movies, and I think that, you know, people just kind of like are like, okay, we saw the last one, it wasn't very good. We saw the other one, like we're not going to go see this one. I think it's just there was just so many turtle movies that they were just like, all right.
Well, well, technically this was only what, the second one?
It was the second.
The second one,
the reboot.
Yeah, but there was so much turtle media. Like I think that people just were over it.
Well, no, I mean at the time the last movie was like what, like 2 years before this, and then the other movies were what, in the early 90s.
Yeah, but there was one in between that, and there was so many TV shows that I think that.
Well, here's my thing. Most of the time, the TV shows were only going to be watched by kids, right? And kids, they'll eat it up. The thing is this, I will say, if the cartoons are really popular, just like they were back at, you know, the original TMNT that we watched, this movie probably would have done better. If the characters,
it was Turtle Mania.
If the characters look like they would do on the TV show, because that's a lot of the thing is, if the movie characters differentiate too much from the cartoon that the kids watch, it's going to be tough for the kids to be like, oh, I want to watch it.
Yeah.
If they look more like, because that's why I'm saying, if you look at the newer animated ones, it's not that they look like these movie turtles, but they do take a lot of styling from the movie Turtles. Like Raphael looking all huge. And then like Donatello looking a lot thinner. So they did take some cues from these movies. After these movies came out, the Turtles that were coming out on Nickelodeon during that time, they had some cues from these movies. So it's a lot easier now to go back and be like, oh, well, it kind of looked the same if a kid did.
Yeah, especially with the
I
current
do agree
run.
with the.
I'm just saying there was a lot of stuff, and it wasn't as popular as it was in the 90s when there was still so much turtle stuff, and I think that might have been at least a contributing factor.
I do agree of the fatigue, but I don't think it's turtle fatigue, because the thing is, they always crank out a new turtle show. They're always cranking them out. Michael Bay fatigue is what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have,
we talked about this
20 Transformers movies.
Yeah, we talked about this during our episode on the island. Go back and listen to that one. But yeah, it just came down to like Michael Bay has this style that even look in this movie, even if he produces it, there's that style is snuck in there. And yeah, there's like that fatigue of the slow motion, of the explosions.
Oh, and also those the circle shot, you know what I'm talking about? Where it's just like there's four people like standing in a circle, and you just see the camera go around all of them
like
from
a
low
dolly.
angle.
Oh, it's like the Avengers thing, like the original Avengers movie.
But it's like always shot from like a low angle, and it's just like you see like this cloud, and like I feel like Michael Bay is good at it, but the people when he produces movies, they try to do that too, whatever director, and they're not very good at replicating it. It's a hard shot to do.
But yeah, I mean, like it's a Michael Bay fatigue even to this day. Like the is it called 7 Underground, the one with Ryan Reynolds?
6 Underground.
6 Underground. That one.
That's 7 Underground's the sequel.
Oh,
it's coming this summer.
Which that one, it's like it starts off with a slow motion shot, and like
Is
car
there an
chase
explosion
and
behind it?
stuff.
Because if there is, I'm on.
I think
shit
so.
like that. All
Yeah.
of that.
Okay, I'm
And
in.
it's just like
It's on Netflix.
yeah, and it's like I watched like the first 5 minutes, and it's just a movie that you could just like you cannot take it seriously, and it sucks like because it has like these good actors. Probably like if it got more attention to the script, it would have a great script too, but yeah, I mean, I understand like the idea of Michael Bay fatigue. I think we're still feeling a Michael Bay fatigue, and that's what kind of sucks when there's like these like little nuggets of actual Michael Bay movies of like The Island, and then this movie where it's like, well, these
Wasn't
ones.
there like Pain and Gain or something like that too?
Pain and
Pain
Gain
and
is
Gain.
good.
Yeah,
Pain
but
and
you
Gain is a
don't
fucking
get
good movie.
Yeah, but you don't hear much about it because it's a Michael Bay film.
Yeah, you don't hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these, the whole Michael Bayness of it, kind of like.
It's
like,
not. It doesn't really feel like a Michael Bay. I don't think there's any explosions even in that movie.
Mm-hmm. But
just the muscles. That's it. That's all they explain.
Yeah.
well, in the style,
but I think
like,
I do agree with you, Ariel. You know what? But once you start hearing, once you just hear his name, you go back to the movies that you heard of, or maybe you've seen like all the Transformers or the or and you just start to feel this thing of like, oh fuck, I know what I'm gonna get myself into.
It does feel like the Transformers Michael Bay movies a lot. It's and that's some of the stuff I didn't like about the movie is it has that same kind of style that you're right. I did get really fucking tired of like by even the second Transformers movie. I was like, this is a lot. I don't want any more of this. And I did feel that in this movie, especially in that ending scene where it just was like, this is about nothing. It's just about cool special effects. And there's some random techno nonsense being built in the sky. And I don't care about any of the characters at this point.
Cartoon.
I mean,
I know it's from the cartoon. I remember that thing. But it was just like, it wasn't like that scene where they were flying out of the plane and I felt like there was stakes. Like I wasn't emotionally invested in the ending the way I was in the ending, the climax of Act 2. I thought those were two very different kind of final battle scenes. One worked for me and one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta lie though, I've seen the first one, I've seen this one, and I've seen all the Transformer movies, all of them, and I'll still keep watching them. But yes, I do see why people get tired of them. I watch them because it's the Transformers and it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, I watched them when I was a kid, and I could watch. I mean, even as cartoons, let's be real, it's always the same. They feed you the same stuff in a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be a villain of the day that he's going to run off. You're not always going to fight the Shredder, but you're going to fight his minions, and every once in a while it's high stakes, and you fight the Shredder for a little bit, but he ends up getting away, and then oh man, Turtles will be back next week.
I kind of wish Shredder was in it more. Too, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like that?
Oh yeah.
You know why?
Man.
Because
he felt like a throwaway character. I'm not that. Well, before I get to my part, I'll let you go. Yeah.
Well, no, because I was gonna say I think it's what it is because they moved it to. I feel like they were trying to push it farther. So when the third movie, they were gonna go all out like Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously with what is it, Krang coming out, he's the superior one. Obviously they're gonna have to show him a little more, and he does kind of enslave Shredder a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the third movie, if they did have one, it would be like the redemption of Shredder. It's where he would have popped back up, and doing his thing. But obviously, we're never gonna
fell off because he was in the ship, but he probably his frozen self fell off his ship, and then Nico's mom found him.
Or he would escape in the third one. They're like, we got to get back to Earth, and they would have had some.
They would have had something.
Derick, you know that was Nico's mom from Runaways, right? His second
Nico
command.
Maru?
Well, no, her mom.
I didn't. Okay, I didn't even recognize that, but that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys ever watch Tokyo Drift?
No,
of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember the Shredder is the guy.
That dude though. Okay, I feel well, you know what? I might as well get into my part.
Give me that 72 Skyride.
Yeah, exactly. So no, but my thing with that guy is that guy. I don't know what it is. He's I
love him.
He looks great. He looks like a fucking great actor. And Tokyo Drift, he was great. But there's so many shows and movies I've seen him in. Like he just seems such a throwaway kind of guy.
Yeah. Like
they just don't give him any light. Like my biggest issue with him in this one was he's playing the Shredder, and the whole time even when I rewatched it and then when I saw it in theaters, I felt like he was such a minor character for such a major character. like it just felt so like, yeah, that's the Shredder. Fuck it, he's doing our bidding, and like me and Ariel were talking about yesterday. I just binge watched all of the HBO Watchmen, and Doctor Manhattan. He's played incredibly in that show, and in the movie he's played great as well. And like, I always thought that like, damn, these guys did such a great job. Like they were able to bring that character to life, and they gave him that like, it's Doctor Manhattan, he's a fucking god kind of thing. And with this one, I felt like the directors were like, oh, it's the Shredder. Yeah, he was in the first one, so fuck it. Like I felt like Bebop and Rocksteady and even the Fly Guy got a little bit more light compared to the Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was just my thing. It always seems like they do it with that actor as well. Like he's always underutilized, but yeah, other than that, like that was my only big gripe with the movie was that I was like, it's like putting fucking Darth Vader in a Star Wars movie and like you just don't give a fuck about him. You're like, he's in the back and whatever.
Yeah,
That's all Vader.
This is definitely all Turtles movie. Like, I mean, all of the like the human characters were kind of underutilized. Even, I could even say that about April O'Neil. Like, she wasn't used that much in this either. Like,
that's actually my other thing too, though. Mm-hmm. I forget Megan Fox is April O'Neil in this. That's another thing. I don't know what it is, but like when I look at her,
not wearing the yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah, she's not wearing the yellow jumpsuit as well. But like when she's like doing stuff, I'm like she's just like, oh my god, Turtles, we gotta go do this, and I'm just like, why is Megan Fox talking to the TMNT? It's kind of weird. Oh, it's Casey Jones. Hey man, what's up? Like she just doesn't feel like April O'Neil. Like she just feels like they could have called her like anything else, and I would have been like, yeah, that's her.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But I mean, that's no offense. Like I know people like to hate on Megan Fox, but just in this one, I just thought it was like, eh. But other than that, though, like there was a lot of great things. But I think what it is, it's a great underrated kids movie. Because what I feel about it is like it's like the kids and the kids inside like older people, like they feel like they're like, oh, the kid in me would love this. Just like Fred was saying, like I felt like the special effects, the CGI was fucking amazing. Like you guys said, Bebop and Rocksteady look great. The Turtles, like, yeah, at first I was like, oh my god, they look weird, but it kind of grew on me, and like looking at their emotions and everything, I was like, damn, they really gave in a lot. Like they put love into it. It didn't feel like it was like trash or anything. And then like the big finale, and like I was saying, the whole the Brazilian River scene was great too. Like you can tell like people who had probably seen the cartoons when they were young and like enjoyed the 90s TMNT movies were probably like giving all that love into the movie. Like I can tell like they're like, yeah, you know what, this might not be like an Avengers type of movie, but we're gonna put in everything we can, because at the end of the day, it's kids who are gonna be watching it and we're gonna be appreciating it. So it's not.
There was a good moment of in the final fight that I really enjoyed, was like them saving Mikey and saying like, no one, but that whole like no one messes with Mikey. It's kind of like a common thread throughout like the cartoons and the old movies of like, Mikey being like the youngest brother. So it's
nobody puts baby in the corner.
Yeah, but them always being so protective of Mikey. It's just that was a good moment. But out of that last scene. But go on. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, you're good. I mean, like, yeah, it was just fun. It was like when I went to go see it with my friend. Like it was fun watching him watch it as well, because he just had this like, oh my god, dude, they're doing this, they're doing the fucking van, they're doing the fucking technodrome, and it's crying and all that.
Van.
Mm-hmm.
The van, that scene was badass.
With the what are those called, manhole cover slingshot things too.
Yeah, that's what he. That's you could buy the toy.
Yeah,
and the toy shot out a little.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing kids.
I had a little Hot Wheels.
So
I had when I was a kid. I didn't have a big one. I had a Hot Wheels though. I loved fucking playing with.
No, but yeah, man, like all that stuff was great. Like I think it's an underrated kids movie. Yeah, don't expect to be like the next fucking Casablanca. Yeah, Oscar award winning film kind of thing. It's just fun. You watch it. I mean, I don't have kids. I'm not gonna have them, but like I'm pretty sure like Fred, you probably showed them to your kids, and you're like, hey, check it out. I'm pretty sure they enjoyed it.
They watched it first before I even did. They watched the first one, and then we went to go watch the second one together. I mean, I've seen the first one, but I didn't see the first one in theaters. I saw the second one in theaters.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, like I'd recommend it. Just like I said, don't go into it thinking it's like, oh my god, it's fucking Infinity War or anything. Just be like, hey, it's Turtles movie. You got everything you want. And I think also my buddy pointed out, he's like, they really, really wanted to drive in the 80s cartoon because they never used their fucking weapons. And the old cartoons, they never used their fucking weapons. I think in this one, I paid attention this time around. I think Leonardo and Mikey, I think, use their weapons like once. Like I think
Ralph uses his to stop himself from falling off of the plane. Leonardo,
I mean, like fighting.
Oh, no.
There's other sequences where they're like they use their shit. Like I think Donatello uses his staff or something real quick. But like
he like
the
shocks
only
Craig
time they fight.
Krang.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Because in the 90s, like the first one in the 90s, they actually like used their weapons, and a bunch of parents like lost their shit. They're like, "What? This is bad." And so like in the second one and the third one, like they never used their weapons, and like a lot of them never. And like it just really like honestly, like I kind of hate that. Like I love the first one that like you see Leo using his fucking katanas and then they're using their like I love all that stuff, and just when they take it out, it's just kind of like, well, why do you even have them? You know?
Exactly. It's like
that's what makes it feel like the cartoon a little bit. Because when you watch the cartoon, they're not always pulling out the weapons. They only use it for a very small section of the episode, most of the time, and it's only for like real quick fight, and then the rest of it's them, hanging out and fighting, doing whatever else.
They use them like defensively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when he stops Casey Jones and he throws a sai. That's how you would normally see them in the cartoon. Kind of use it like he throws it out there, and you're like, "Oh, I see his weapon, cool." But you don't always see them, And only when they're fighting, maybe the foot, that they kind of pull it out. It's only for like the bad guy, so you know that it's only like bad guy time.
Yeah.
Any other time the weapons
when Ralph used to have a sai, I think they took away his sai in the recent cartoon.
That's
which
terrible.
Sucks. Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Then okay.
PC gone mad.
Yeah, I don't know what. Then
Moms are angry Karens in the fucking world.
Yeah. I don't know if they went back to it, but I know that there was one cartoon that they gave them basically what is it? No, like the kind of like stick, the half sticks, the like
Escrimas?
Escrimas, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I want to see him like
Nightwing.
I want to see him. Ooh, there we go. But I want to see him like because I would play that video game. I want to see like Leo chopping through fucking foot soldiers and shit. Not like fucking like crazy levels of violence, but I want to see him use it.
I've never seen the gameplay of them in Mortal Kombat. I know they're on Mortal Kombat. I wonder how.
Oh, really? Injustice 2. They were in Injustice 2.
Injustice
they
2.
were.
There we go. I need then I could unlock them then.
I think I played them a little bit, but they were pretty fun. Like you would choose either of the four, and like I think their playstyle was similar, but like they would give certain inputs like their own kind of thing. Like I think if you did like a projectile input, like they would throw the sai, and then if they had the staff like Donatello, it was more like they would extend it more longer to get a bigger hit. But that's all like different shit. But yeah. It was cool, and you can customize them too. Like that's what I loved about this movie as well.
I could see Injustice have the turtles because they don't really kill anybody in Injustice, right? It's like
no, there's no fatalities. It plays more like it plays more like Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom. Like it's more like they when they went out the way to make it, when they wanted the guest characters like Hellboy and the Tmnt, they were more like, well, they're not really. I mean, Hellboy can kill, but they're more like it's more friendly. Like MK11 now, they have RoboCop, Terminator, Spawn, and all that shit.
Those things kill though. Like they like murder.
Yeah, they kill. But no, yeah, it's pretty much my thing. But one last thing to go back to Six Underground. My biggest, I didn't bother watching that movie because I was like, I think my girlfriend was like, "Oh look, it's on Netflix.
I only got 5 minutes in.
No, I saw the trailer and was like, I don't want to watch this solely because they lost the biggest fucking opportunity, because all these trailers nowadays love to do slow motion versions of like Radiohead's Creep or whatever the fuck. It's always some bullshit like that. And I'm like, they literally have the best song that's already kind of slow motion, already kind of like actiony, is Sneaker Pimp's Six Underground. It wasn't in the fucking trailer, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. I was like, because you guys fucking lost an opportunity. That song is hype as fuck, and you guys ruined it. Done. Fatigue. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Anybody else got anything else they want to?
Well, I just have a question.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of us, right? There's 4 turtles.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go and say who we think is like our favorite turtle, or who we think we all are in the group?
Think who we all are.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
I think I have an idea. I think I know where we're going with this. I think I might know, but I want to hear what everybody thinks.
That's a tough one on what everybody thinks they are. I have my favorite turtle.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, who do you think you like? If you guess your favorite.
My favorite, well, even as a kid, was always Michelangelo. I respected Leonardo. I thought he was the better of the bunch, but I always thought Michelangelo was the glue that kept everybody together. So that's why I ended up liking him.
So we got Mikey. I think my favorite, and the one who I always loved and related to, was my boy Leo. I fucking love Leo. I always whenever I see him, I'm always like, yeah, go Leo. You got the cool katanas. You got the blue. He's the leader. I fucking loved Leo.
So my favorite is Raphael. It always has been, but I've always, especially with my family and probably in this group, I'm always like grouped into Donatello. I like Donatello too, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking for you a little bit.
Yeah, I always get grouped into Donatello. You know, me being the scientist and going to school and stuff like that. I'm always grouped into that, but I don't mind. I like, you know, I like it.
I could see you as Raph too, though. You get a little hot-blooded sometimes, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I'd be Krang.
Wait, so if you do that, then I'm gonna be.
I was gonna ask, are you Bebop or Rocksteady?
Krang. I think I look like him the most.
All right.
No, don't do yourself dirty like that.
Donatello though. I always like Donatello, just because like I think because the whole thing in the weapons usage, at least in the old ones, he would like trip the foot. At least like I was like, hey, at least he's using his weapon. So and he's all techie, but I always liked him just like tripping fools because I was like, yeah, might as well. But Krang definitely.
I can see the resemblance. Yeah.
Bubblegum.
You sound like Raymond's brother.
Oh,
Raymond,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
That's right.
Play by Raymond.
I hate Raymond. I don't know. I've never seen the show.
It's literally the opposite. Is everybody loves Raymond? And you said,
I hate Chris. Sorry, I was
the brother hates him. I think. It's been like fucking 15 years since I saw that show.
Yeah,
no, you got it all. That was a perfect. That was perfect.
No, he's like, everybody loves Raymond.
That's gonna be the intro to this episode. I hate Raymond.
That's fun.
Yeah. All right. Is everybody good, or does anybody want to still walk down this nostalgia path of Turtles?
I think we got it covered.
I
know I said what I wanted to say.
Go watch Ariel and Code 8.
And go watch every other beat of Turtles that you can. Well, everybody, we want to say thank you for listening to another one of our beautiful episodes here with the Undercast company and our beautiful podcast, the Underrated Podcast. Want you guys to like and subscribe. Follow us on our social medias, on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any form of podcast that you like to listen to. Our YouTube channel. I think that's all we got, right, guys?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. So yeah, follow us on all our social medias. Leave a comment. We always appreciate that. You know, send us an email. If you guys would like to watch another podcast, I know we have a few coming up, guys. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So we have mine called "You've Never Seen." We have 2 filmed or recorded already. We're probably gonna work on a 3rd one and then get that out to you guys. It's basically a podcast of at least one of us have never seen a movie considered to be a part of pop culture or a critically acclaimed movie, and at least one of us has never seen it. So this answers the question of you've never seen. And Derick has another one coming out.
Yeah, I got in the works a podcast called Gateway Episodes, and basically the premise is, when you're trying to get your buddy or somebody into a show and you show them the episode that is the gateway episode to get into this TV show, So we'll watch, kind of like an iconic episode that will theoretically get you into a TV show, and then kind of discuss and cover it and see if it's something we want to get into.
Yeah, and speaking of Aller Richardson, we're already planning a Blue Mountain State one because I've never actually seen Blue Mountain State. I've been wanting to, but I've never seen it. So I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Now.
Which also does have a little bit of Stephen Amell.
Yeah, a little bit of Stephen Amell. Yep. That's how they met.
Ooh, perfect for you then, Ariel.
Yeah.
Yep. So that is something all you listeners have something to look forward to. And with that, I've been Fred.
It was Derick.
I'm Ariel. Thanks for being amazing.
All right, later, everybody.
Take it easy.
See you in another life.